Yes, hello, hi Swaroop. This is Manisha calling from SK.
Hey, hi, good morning. How are you?
Very good morning. So this is the right time to speak with you, right?
Yes.
Okay. Can you brief about your current work experience and roles and responsibilities involved, and which company you are working in?
Okay, sure. So I have overall 5 years of experience with DevOps and build release activities. And most of
Okay.
my experience is into building the infrastructure by using AWS services. And I have created VPC, auto scaling, elastic load balancing, and I made use of different services with AWS like EC2, S3, EBS, Amazon Glacier, AMI, and the volume management and taking the snapshots. And the continuous integration perspective, we are using Jenkins and TeamCity. So I was involved in installing the Jenkins from the scratch and doing different job configuration based on customer requirements, and cloning the GitHub with Jenkins to fetch the version control system code. And in our environment, we are using GitHub as a version control system. So we are following agile practice, and we used to create the branches for every sprint, and once the sprint is done and after the testing is completed on that particular sprint, then we used to do the merges, and then we used to release the code to the customer. And apart from this, we are introduced Ansible recently from last 9 months in our project. So I have good understanding of Ansible. So where I got a chance to research on Ansible with another configuration management tools, and I suggested the customer we can use Ansible in
So
our.
you have worked on Ansible?
Yes.
Okay. What activities you have done in Ansible? What type of playbooks you have written?
So playbook in the sense, we have in our environment we have GitHub where we used to update it 2 times in a month. Actually, GitHub will provide the updates for every 2 weeks. So for updating that, what I did is I wrote a playbook rather than doing manually downloading that from the GitHub site and then applying that to the GitHub, bringing that server down before applying that. And there is some mechanism failover replica server as well in GitHub. So I wrote the logic in such a way that it will update both the replica server along with the primary server. And there is one more component in the GitHub architecture. If we see, there is a backup utilities. So this is another separate software which will take the complete snapshot of the data which you have in your GitHub. So for that also, with this release you will be having a new release for the GitHub utility backups as well. So I wrote in such a way all these 3 servers will be updated, and before updating it will send out an banner message to the GitHub user saying that the GitHub is going down for an planned update on this time. And I wrote few playbooks to install Git software for our developer teams, and along with this I wrote a playbook to install Apache Tomcat in Nginx and those stuff.
Okay. Okay, fine. Have you worked on any CI/CD tools?
Yes, I did. As I told, Jenkins and TeamCity. TeamCity is the scope of TeamCity is very limited for us, but most of our environments have Jenkins. Only we have 2 Windows environments where we are using TeamCity, and all remaining almost we have 300 applications which are running on Jenkins only.
Okay. So can you explain me the CI/CD setup?
Okay.
From code checkout to
Sure.
deployment using Jenkins.
Yeah, sure. So, so right now we are using Git as our version control system. So developers used to develop the code and check in the code into the particular branch of that specific sprint. Once the code is ready, then on daily basis, not to create any mess, we used to do continuous integration by using Jenkins. So for doing continuous integration, the main thing we need is the build script. we are using Apache Maven as a build tool, and we have created a pom.xml file where we have defined dependencies of the project, and we have mentioned the artifact ID, project ID, and along with that, if we want to run some JUnit test cases, we have mentioned that in our pom.xml file, and the output of the job and where it needs to be stored. All these things are mentioned in our pom.xml file dependencies. So we configured that pom.xml file under manage Jenkins in Jenkins. So and we have cloned our Jenkins with GitHub. So what it will do is, like, whenever you are configuring a new job for that particular project, new item, then the project style is Maven project. Then after that, we will be having the source code management section where we need to select our GitHub. So then we need to give the credentials there, and we are using SSH key credentials here that we will generate on GitHub site, and we will copy the same keys on Jenkins. So once the handshaking channel is established between GitHub and Jenkins, then Jenkins will be ready to pull the data while running the job. After that, we will be having a Maven home setting where we need to give the home path of Maven, then Java home path. After that, we have the targets where we need to give the targets, like, which all the targets needs to be running from pom.xml file. And then there will be a goal which we need to select, like, what will be the goal for that particular job, whether it is packaging or cleanup or all we can select. After that, we will be having the post build activities where we can mention post build activities, like, suppose say my build got successful and all the teams which are working for that particular project needs to be notified that my build is successful and the build number is generated, and with this build number, or if it is failed with some errors, those information needs to be passed across all the teams. So we used to give our people distribution list so that they will get the status of that particular build after running the job. And once the artifact is successful, then we can cross verify by checking the approximate size of the artifact with the last generated build, and we can see the console output also, how the build happened and what all the steps are executed from pom.xml file. The console output will give a brief idea. Even though if we encounter some type of errors, those errors will be found out in console output. And till this part we can treat it as like continuous integration, like, the place where you will be having your artifact ready under your workspace. This part we can treat it as continuous integration.
Okay. You have any experience on database?
What kind of experience you are expecting? Like, SQL query level, or you are asking some architecture?
What kind of experience you have?
Okay.
What have you worked on databases?
Databases, actually in the cloud we used to do that RDS and installing the SQL server with that. Along with that, like, I have
so
some
query. You have knowledge on setting up database.
Yes, and I have query level also. I have some experience, but I used it very, in my past experience. But I'm comfortable at query level retrieving the data, joins, and those queries.
How about the scripting?
Scripting, actually we are using bash scripting.
Bash?
Yes.
Okay. Bash or bash?
Bash, BASH.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Fine. Okay.
Along with that, like, once the artifact is ready, then we are doing for few environments continuous deployment as well, like where we are using Ansible for doing continuous deployment. So with the help of few of our playbooks, what we are doing is, like, we are taking this artifact from our repository and we are deploying it directly on the end server.
Okay. Okay, fine, sir. Programming knowledge, how about programming? Do you have any programming knowledge?
No programming knowledge as of now. Actually, most of my experience is into implementation and kind of automation, but I didn't get much exposure, like, development side. So this position requires a kind of development as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Do you have any questions to me?
I just want to ask you, like, I mean, a brief idea about this project and what will be the scope.
Project, I don't have any, any information on what project, where and all.
Okay.
I was just given your profile to take an interview.
Okay, okay.
You will be having one more round of interview.
Okay.
So you may ask the second person who will be taking an interview.
Okay.
For you.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Okay,
Thank
cool.
you.
Okay,
Thanks
thank you.
for your time.
Okay, no problem. Thank you. Have a great day ahead. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.